Hey guys, today you are going to learn how to pass variables through pages here in Flutterflow. It's very important between pages. In this example we are working with a movies catalog, okay? We have in this case 3 movies. I just put those 3 movies in here and we can actually click in more and see more information about this movie. And the purpose of passing variables through those pages is that we don't need to create a new page for each one of these movies. Okay, in this case we have just 3 movies in here, but think about a website with a catalog of more than 100 movies. You don't have to create a page, a different page, a new page for each one of those movies. You can actually pass different variables with different values, with, for example, the title, the description, and these kinds of things to this one page, and then just reuse in every single one of them. So let's jump right into it. Book a call with us to find out more about our no-code bootcamp or how we can help you automate your business. Click in the description below. Just like I told you guys, if we don't use variables in this case, we are going to create one new page for each one of these movies to create more information about them. But instead of this, we are just going to create one blank page, structure this page, and then we are going to pass different variables for each one of these buttons, for each one of those movies. So first of all, let's create a blank page in here. I just created the new page with the name movie info. I'm going to copy the structure that I have here in this page as well. Let me erase every single thing that I have in here to just reapply the same style for this page in here. First of all, I'm going to change this title in here. I'm going to give movie information, for example. Okay, and now I'm going to erase just so we have a model for our component. In this case, I'm going to erase the Conjuring, and inside out I'm just going to keep Interstellar in here, and I'm going to structure what I want to display in this more information page, right? So I want to display the photo of the movie. In this case, I'm going to give, for example, 400 of width. In this case, since I just chose this movie to display, to see more information, I'm going to give a highlight to the picture. I'm going to increase the border radius as well. I'm going to make the title a little bit larger, and this information, this small information, larger as well. For this example, I'm going to add the description from the movie. So let me duplicate this text in here. I just separated the 3 descriptions for those 3 movies that we are working here: Interstellar, Inside Out, and The Conjuring. Let me copy this description and paste in here my second text that I just duplicated. You guys can see that we are too close to the borders, right? I'm going to give a padding for my container, let's say 30 pixels. I think it's too much. Let's give 20 pixels, just like I gave to the bottom. Okay, now it's better. I'm just going to change this text to make it a little bit different from the subtitle in here. I'm going to align to the center, and I'm going to give a padding as well to give a little bit more of distance from my title. Okay, now we have an image, the title, the subtitle, and the description from my movie. Okay, this is just what I want to display. In this case, what could I transform into variables in this page in here in order to use just this page, movie info, to create different pages for each one of the movies I want to put in my catalog. I can transform this image into an URL, for example, an image path. I can transform this title into a text, a string, this one as well, a string, and the description as well into a string variable. Okay, I can send from my home page to this page all of those variables depending on which movie I click here in my home page. If I click in Interstellar, I want to receive this information in here. If I click in Inside Out, I want to receive, instead of this title, I want to receive Inside Out. Instead of this subtitle, I want to receive 2024 and the name of the director, Kelsey Mann, okay, and the description as well for this movie. Okay, so now the next step is to actually replace all of this fixed information that we have, replace this to variables. Okay, how can we do this? First, we are going to create parameters that we can actually receive once we get inside, once we are directed to this page, movie info. We can add those parameters here in page parameters in the top of Flutterflow. Let's click the plus sign, add parameter, and in here you can give a name. For example, I'm going to give movie image, okay, first of all, which is going to represent our image path, and I'm going to set a type for this parameter. In this case, we have a lot of different types: integer, double, string, image path, video path. We have a lot of different different types of data that we can actually pass. Okay, in this case we're going to use image path since we are talking about an image. Right, it's required. I can set as well a default parameter in here for the purpose of testing this implementation when we preview or we test our application in here. But for now, I'm just going to confirm, okay? But just the image path is not enough. We need as well different parameters to the title, the subtitle, and the description. So let's create them as well. Edit these parameters, add a new one, and let's set, for example, move title. And remember to always try to keep a pattern between the names of those variables. Okay? Movie title, movie subtitle, movie description in those cases. Okay. In this case, since we are talking about a text, we're going to set the type for string. Let's add another one. In this case, move subtitle string as well. We're talking about a text again. And last but not least, movie description that we are using, passing a string as well. Now we have the 4 variables that we need to compose, to create this page, depending on which movie we are going to click in our home page. All of this inside of just one page only, not a lot of them to each one of these movies. So we have movie image, which is an image path, which expects to receive an image path. We have movie title, which expects to receive a string. We have movie subtitle, movie description. Let's confirm, and now expect to receive 4 of those variables, of those parameters when we enter this movie info page, right? So if you come back to home page, and if we take a look, what am I going to use to trigger, to direct this user to the movie info page? The button more, right? If the user click this button more, the person wants to see more information about this movie in here. So if I click this button, I'm going to add an action, actually, okay, to navigate to movie info page, right? And if we take a look in here, we have the tab parameters in which we can pass or define a new parameter. Since we defined all of the 4 parameters we need back in movie info, we can just pass those variables. And it's going to give you the right order, in the same order that you just created there in movie info. It's going to display in here, move image, which is the same variable that we created in here. So in this case, we have to set a movie path to pass to that variable. We need to use a value in here. But before we pass this variable, the 4 variables that we are using in movie info, we just forgot to take one more step in order to these variables to work in movie info page. Okay, we just created the 4 parameters, but we didn't apply in which of the cases we want to use those parameters, the information that we are going to receive from home page. So I'm going to click here in image, and down here, instead of using an asset in which I just uploaded an image from my computer, I'm going to use network. And in this case, Flutterflow expects a path from the image to use in here. What path we are going to use? We are going to use the variable that I'm going to pass from homepage. If you click in those 2 lines in here, those two orange lines, you're going to see that we have page parameters in here, an option with the available options that we have, the 4 parameters that we just created. The only one available is move image, because it's the only one that expects to receive a image path. Let's click this one, and now we are receiving whatever is the information that we are going to pass from homepage to movie info page. Now you guys can see that we cannot see any image in here, but once we receive this information, the image is going to appear in this container, in this space. But always keep in mind, guys, that it's very important for you to first format the way you want things to look like in your page. Okay, always put a sample image in here, a title, a text, and format first. In here, give the width, the height that you want, the padding that you want, and then you will start populating those components with variables. So once you receive those variables, everything that you set is going to be in the right format, in the right size, in the right position. And the same thing, and after this, the same thing that we did for the image, we are going to do for the titles as well, for the title, subtitle, and description. In here, instead of using a text, we are going to click in here and use movie title parameter, right? You can set in here a default variable. For this one, I'm going to use title. Confirm. This is not going to appear, okay? This is just going to appear if we don't receive any of those variables. If we don't receive anything, we are going to set as default title or whatever you just put in there. Let's give in here the subtitle, and last but not least, again, the description. Confirm. And now, as you guys can see, we don't have a good vision of how exactly is our page is set. That's why I just told you guys to format everything first with samples or examples, and then you start populating your strings or your variables. And now we can come in here to the home page. Now that we just populated the parameters in the right position, we are going to the home page where we are going to send those variables to movie info. And now once we click here in more, just like I told you guys, we're going to navigate to movie info and we're going to pass all of those parameters. If I start passing to the other ones, you are going to see that we have the 4 variables that we just created in there, all of them in here. We just have to pass whatever we want to pass. In here, movie image, it's a tricky part, okay? Once we just uploaded this image in here, we can actually take a look in our media assets icon. From Flutterflow, if you click in here, you can see all of the images that you just imported in your project. If you didn't import one of the images that you want to use, you can upload in here as well. If we click in here, you're going to open the image in Google Chrome, Firefox, for example. You just have to copy this link, this path in this case. And now we can paste this URL in this value in here. The movie image is set. Now let's go to the movie title. Here we just expect a string. Right, let's copy Interstellar, just like the title we gave the movie in here, and set for movie title. Movie subtitle, let's copy this text as well, 2014, Christopher Nolan, the director, right? And let's paste here in movie subtitle. Right, the only information that we don't have in here is the description, but we are going to pass as well, since we are passing all of those variables once we click in the right movie, the movie that we want in here. Let's copy the description from Interstellar and paste in here again. Now if you run our app, for example, and click here in more, we're going to pass all of those parameters in here, movie image, title, subtitle, description, if we click here in the button from this movie Interstellar. Then we're going to pass to movie info and we are going to populate all of those elements that we are using here, the image, title, subtitle, and description. Let's test our app and you guys are going to see this in practice. So I just ran our app through the test mode from Flutterflow, and as you guys can see, we have our app in here, the 3 movies that we can see. Here in the left we have the debug panel, in which we have some information about variables and parameters that we can receive, how our app is working, right? We have some global properties as well from our app, but let's click right away here in more information from Interstellar, and we are directed to movie info page. Right, and we just received here in page parameters, our parameters, movie image, title, subtitle, and description, but we just received movie image. And as you guys can see, we have our image in the right size, in the way that we wanted to receive. But I'm not receiving title, subtitle, and description. Let me take a look here in Flutterflow. If something is missing. Oh, okay. Okay, for some reason, our value in here is blank, right? So let me fix this. So I just repopulated everything here in the more button. As you guys can see, we have now a title, a subtitle, and a description. And once I ran my project in here, if you guys take a look and we click here in more, we are receiving actually the image, the title, the subtitle, and the description down here, right? Now the only thing that is left is to send as well the same variables for these other movies as well, for this movie, Inside Out, and for this movie, The Conjuring, that I just saw that I didn't fix the title and subtitle for this movie. But let me fix this. I'm going to populate each one of them as well, the same way that I did in here, just navigating to movie info and passing all of those variables to movie info page. I'm just going to do the same thing, but with different information, with the title Inside Out, with the path for this image, with this description, with this subtitle and the description from Inside Out, and we're going to see how our app is going to work. Well guys, just to do real quick, the last one, The Conjuring here for you guys. Move image, I just opened the same path that I have, the same way that I showed you guys. You can just click here in Media Assets. Let's paste the path in here. Movie title, and we're just going to write in here The Conjuring. Now movie subtitle, what year? 2013, right? Yes, James Wan. Director, James, oh my god, James Wan. And the last one, movie description, that I just made a search before the video. This is the description for The Conjuring. Okay, now we have set for each one of these buttons all of the parameters we expect to receive in movie info. Now we are just sending for each one of these different movies the information, the personalized information for each one of them in this fixed page, in this only one page, right? Now if you take a look, actually if we click in display button and take a look in our project, you guys are going to see that if I click in more information for Interstellar, we are going to receive all of the information for this movie. If I click for more information for Inside Out 2, we are going to receive all of the information for that movie as well. The same thing goes for 100 and more movies if you want to catalog all of them. That's the beautiful way of creating this. You don't have, just like I told you guys in the beginning of the video, you don't have to create 100 different pages. It just works like a component, but instead of just creating a component and replying each one of the cases that you use in your project, for example buttons and cards, you are just going to pass variables to that page, since we are dealing with a page, right? So now let's take a look at the app working with this responsiveness using those parameters. Well, as you guys can see, we have our app in here and the debugger as well to see what variables, what parameters we are passing. If you click here in our first movie, we have our 3 movies in here. The first one, as you guys can see, we are passing the 4 parameters: movie image, movie title, movie subtitle, and movie description. If we get back to the home page, for example, and we click on Inside Out 2, we are receiving as well different kinds of variables as well. Subtitle, the title of our movie. Let's test the last one, The Conjuring. Let's click more, and as well we are receiving personalized data for each one of those movies. In this way we can have more than 100, 1,000 movies in our catalog and only one page to display more information about them. In this case you can use for a lot of different cases, movies in this case. If you are going to use a similar page or the same page for different kinds of things, you can actually create and pass variables instead of creating each one of them. If you want to pass, for example, and keep this line of thought, for example, if I click here on Interstellar and movie info, I want another button in here for purchase, for example, if I want to purchase this movie, if I want to buy this movie. You can actually create here on the action flow editor, actually create if analysis. So if the title, if movie title is equals to Interstellar, then you are going to pass for the next page these variables. If the title of the movie is Inside Out 2, then you are going to pass these other variables, these other parameters. And in this way you can create all of the logic for your website, just creating 2 pages. If you guys take a look, we actually have 4 different kinds of pages with different content, but we just created 2 of them. So that's it for the video today, okay guys? It's pretty simple. This is an easy way to use parameters in Flutterflow. If you want to see more content about Flutterflow, about creating pages and all of those things, you guys can give us a like and comment down below what you guys want to see next. I hope to see you guys soon here at Doris Coding School. Bye bye. Book a call with us to find out more about our no-code bootcamp or how we can help you automate your business. Click in the description below.